All right, Mr. Taliaferro, let me get in my bag. I want you guys to timestamp this video, right? I want this to serve as like a timestamp in history as one of my most iconic rants of all time, all right? People have been asking me, you know, y'all know that at the origin of me, it's sports, it's basketball first. I'm an NBA fanatic. I love the game, and I also understand this game very well. All right, ESPN, I worked there, and I don't want to keep throwing that in your face, but that's my biggest accomplishment to date, and I take pride in that. And they hired me for that internship position for a reason. All right, let's make that clear. Basketball is my passion, and before hip hop, there was basketball, and it'll be basketball and sports after hip hop, right? This video is going to serve as a timestamp, and I want y'all to just kick back and enjoy you some Taliaferro. I don't know, maybe next 10-15 minutes, depending on just how I'm feeling right now. People have asked me, what in the heck is wrong with Cleveland? What in the heck is wrong with the Cavaliers? And if people ask you, what in the heck is wrong with the Cleveland Cavaliers? Why are they struggling? You know what I mean? They're losing to the Magic by 20 points. What's going on? Just show them this video. I am going to go through and give everyone blame who deserves blame in the Cleveland Cavaliers' demise. On this team, we're going to go in order. So I'm going to start at the person I believe who deserves the least amount of blame on this roster. And we're going to do the important guys, right? Some guys will skip out. Like, I'm not going to talk about Kyle Korver, right? But most guys we're going to talk about on this roster. And we're going to work our way up to the person who I believe deserves the most blame. So I don't want to waste any more of your time. Like I said, I done did a little edit for you guys so y'all can enjoy this one. So let's start out right here with Kevin Love. Again, we're going from the least amount of blame to the most amount of blame. And again, show this video to anyone if someone asks you what's wrong with Cleveland. Kevin Love, he's currently out with a broken hand. First and foremost, he's been injured a few times in the era of LeBron James. That's a, you know, since he decided to join the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's been, what, 4 years now for Kevin Love as well, 3.5. He's been injured a few times. That hurts. You've hurt LeBron James because, you know, LeBron can never sit out. LeBron can't afford to get injured right now because he is the offense right now. So Kevin Love's been injured. Kevin Love, I feel like there are stretches on the basketball court where 5 or 6 minute stretches where you don't realize Kevin Love's out there from time to time. Then there are times where Kevin Love has phenomenal games, 20 and 10, 20 and 12 games. Listen, I'm not going to give Kevin Love a lot of the blame here because if you ask the guy who was number one, and Kevin Love was number one in Minnesota, he was averaging, what, 24, 25, and 10 a night in Minnesota his first 6-7 years in the league. If you're asking any guy like that to now become not just from number one to number two, but he left he left Minnesota, and went from number one to number 3 behind Kyrie Irving, right? If you ask anybody to do that, that's going to be tough for anyone to do. And I think Kevin Love has acclimated to this to the best of his abilities. I want to say he's acclimated better to it than what Chris Bosh did in Toronto, swinging over to Miami with LeBron and D Wade. I can't give Kevin Love that much blame. I will say this, in the finals, he's been under average to me. You really can't keep him on the court, especially last year when Durant was on the court. But before that, right, even when it was just Draymond down low and Iguodala on the court as well, you really couldn't keep Kevin Love on the court. That is a problem, his lack of athleticism. But again, the Cavs knew what they were getting themselves into when they got Kevin Love on board. And Kevin Love has pretty much, when he's on the court, he's been consistent. He's changed his game to pretty much be a spot-up shooter. I can't give Kevin Love that much blame there. I'm going to leave Kevin Love alone. Let's keep it moving. A newcomer to the Cavs team. Isaiah's been around for about 15 games now? I will say this about Isaiah. I don't love his game, and I think we're starting to see who Isaiah Thomas really is. He's pretty much a 5'9" Lou Williams type player, right? The problem is he's 5'9", and he has bad hips now. And I think his 2 seasons in Boston were actually like anomalies, right? I don't think he was that good as we've seen in Boston. I think we weren't giving enough credit to Boston's head coach, Brad Stevens, right? Because if you look at Isaiah Thomas' career when he was in Phoenix, Sacramento, pretty much everywhere he's been in the NBA, he's pretty much been an average player who could really light it up from time to time. He got in Boston, he was 4th in the MVP. Last year he averaged, 29 points a game. Boston got to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's not that good. He's not that guy. And if you look at the Boston Celtics right now, you really can see it, right? Because Kyrie's missed like the last, 4 or 5 games. And Terry Rozier came in and he had like a triple-double one night. It's the system, right? And Kyrie's really good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. But when Terry Rozier can come in and fill that point guard position, and Marcus Smart's playing some of the best basketball of his life, it's more about Brad Stevens and his system. That's why Isaiah Thomas had MVP-like stats last year. And I still think Isaiah Thomas can score, right? I still think he can put the ball in the basket, but he's not who he was in Boston. He's more of who he was in Sacramento and in Phoenix. That's who he really is, right? And Isaiah Thomas needs to shut up. All these post-game conferences with him saying the Cavs they're not a team, they're not talking. I don't believe he has enough clout on his team. Like, you're not an NBA champion. You haven't been with this team through thick and thin. You ain't been to war. You've been around. You ain't even been around all of this year. You've been around for 15, 20 games, somewhere along, and I'm giving Isaiah Thomas a little bit of some slack. A lot of guys will have him way higher on the list to blame. I'm going to give Isaiah Thomas a little slack. First and foremost, you got traded for Kyrie Irving. You can't fill Kyrie Irving's shoes. He got put in a bad situation with a team like the Cavs that was already going to be a mess anyway this season. He's coming off of hip surgery. Everybody's looking up like, yo, you the guy we traded for Kyrie? What you got? And he's not healthy right now. Isaiah Thomas, if the Cavs were really well off right now, if their record was still like second in the East right now, Isaiah wouldn't be playing right now. He forced himself back. He's not healthy. I don't know if he can get healthy this season. He needs a new contract, though. This is last year of his deal. He's never been paid. He's only making like $9 million a year. He needs a deal. And he needs to play right now. And the Cavs need him right now to be efficient. Right now, I mean, he's 3 for 13 pretty much every night. He's not efficient. He's never been the most efficient guy in his career. Again, he's 5'9". Certain things he just can't do at 5'9", 5'10". And we're seeing how he can really negatively impact the team because he pretty much only makes himself better. I'm still going to give IT a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because, again, this Cavs thing was going down the drain before he got there. They started losing before he got there. He just kind of expedited the process. And there's a reason why Kyrie Irving wanted out. This thing was going down the drain way before Isaiah Thomas joined this team. So I'm not going to give him all of the blame. Let's keep it moving. I want to go Jae Crowder. Jae Crowder was also involved in that Boston Celtics trade where Kyrie Irving ended up going to Boston and they got back what the Cavs get: Isaiah, Jae Crowder, was that Untich, and then they got a pick as well, that a coveted Brooklyn pick. Jae Crowder has not been the guy that I thought he'd be. Right, the Cavs got him to be a 3-and-D guy, right? A guy that can knock down that three. You'd be playing with LeBron James. A lot of us believe playing with LeBron James is much better than playing with Isaiah Thomas in Boston. But again, I don't think we're giving enough credit to Brad Stevens and his system. Jae Crowder is just not the guy that he was. Some games he's been pretty decent. Most games didn't have it. Just doesn't have it. Just does not have it consistently, and he has hurt this Cavs team. He is just simply not the guy they thought they were getting. He is just simply not the guy they thought they were getting. You want to keep him around, though. You don't want to trade him because you look towards the playoffs and you look at a matchup like a Kevin Durant. If the Cavs can luck up and get to the finals, right? You look up and you see Jae Crowder. He can do some things with Kevin Durant, which can give LeBron a break. So you got to keep him around. I won't give, again, like with Isaiah, I can't give Jae Crowder all the blame in this situation when he wasn't around for this last year when this thing was starting to plummet then. And I can't give him all the blame, but as a starter, I don't think Jae Crowder will look you in the eye and say he's successfully done his job this season. And he did lose his mother in the offseason as well. And you don't know what kind of impact that can have on a guy, but he has not been the guy that the Cavs thought they were getting. Next guy on my list, I want to go Channing Frye. Here's why I'm going Channing Frye. I don't have a lot to say about him because he's not a guy that you're looking for 20 and 8 out of, right? But I do say this about Channing Frye. I think his personality is good, but I think it's negatively impacting his team because it's too jovial. So for those who don't know, Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye have a podcast, and we'll get to LeBron James and his blame in a few minutes. Trust me. They have a podcast, right? And the podcast centers around, it's like a road trip. The name of the podcast is called Road Trip. And for me personally, this team with LeBron on it is championship or bust. And if LeBron could look back and with his production company, if he could look back and think, should I give these guys the podcast? And it's on his network called Uninterrupted. That's like LeBron's company. If LeBron could look back and if he knew that this podcast would cause guys to lose focus. Again, Richard Jefferson got traded to Denver right before the season. If he knew that this podcast would cause a little trouble, I don't think he would have signed up. I just think that podcast is just enough for these guys, for Channing Frye to not be as focused as need be to be on the championship. And right now, the Cavs don't need any exterior motives. They don't need anything exterior right now affecting this team. They need everybody focused on winning. I think Channing Frye has made some money in the NBA, and I don't think he's the guy that I want. He's a veteran guy. He could still shoot the ball, but I don't know if I want him getting big-time minutes in my rotation right now. I just don't believe he's the guy, right? I just don't think he's the guy that I want in my locker room right now. Too jovial, too playful, other stuff going on with him. Let's keep it moving. All right, I got Derrick Rose. And I'm actually, how do I put this about Derrick Rose? I'm not the biggest Derrick Rose fan. I'm not a big Derrick Rose guy. I never have been, never will be. Here's the problem. Derrick Rose, in his MVP season, he was phenomenal. We're not in his MVP season anymore. And a lot of people forget, that's like 7 years ago, right? And Derrick Rose doesn't have the bounce in his knees, and he's delusional. Seriously, he's delusional. A month ago, Derrick Rose didn't know if he even wanted to return to the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? He didn't even know if he wanted to play basketball anymore. That's a problem. You're on the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're playing with LeBron James. The irony, you're playing with one of the most dedicated guys who's ever played this game, right? A guy who's dedicated his body, right? When all the friends and partners was at the club celebrating. I mean, even close friends to LeBron. LeBron was in the gym, or he was treating that body right and avoiding clubs. And you got a guy in Derrick Rose who doesn't even know if he wants to play this game. Makes millions of dollars a year. Doesn't know if he wants to play the game. And to give him credit, if I went through that many injuries, I don't know where I'd be at with it. But you're playing with LeBron, and you knew what the expectations were when you signed up for this Cleveland Cavaliers team. Championship or bust. He's been, to be honest with you, when he's on the court, he's never making anybody else better. And that's another problem. They just got too many guys that don't make anybody else better. Derrick Rose makes no one else but Derrick Rose better. And at this point in life, I don't even know if he makes Derrick Rose better, right? When he's in the game, he's getting to the rim. And I call it it's like hockey. It's not real assists, right? The assist Derrick Rose gets is like similar to the Westbrook assist. He's giving the ball off when there's nothing else for him to do. Like, there's nowhere else for him to go. I think if you got Derrick Rose as your number one guy and a bunch of role players around him in his heyday, it worked, right? That's why it worked in Chicago. But when he's expected to just do his role and not be the dominant ball handler, he needs shots to get going. He's never been an efficient guy either. Like Isaiah, he needs shots. The difference between Isaiah and Derrick Rose is Derrick Rose got most of his at the rim. Can't get to the rim like he used to because he ain't got the knees. I just don't think Derrick Rose is the guy right now for this Cavs team. Now let's get serious about this. Let's really get into some stuff. Let's really pipe up here. Dwyane Wade. All right, I'm gonna go easy on Dwyane Wade. He's a Hall of Famer for sure. One of the top 5 shooting guards ever. Got to be top 5. Here's the thing with Dwyane Wade. I think it's time for Dwyane Wade to retire. I think he should think long and hard about retiring this summer. He's nowhere close to the player that he used to be. We give him a pass because we love Dwyane Wade, right? We love Dwyane Wade. He's a great person, great personality. We love Gabrielle Union. We love Wade. Seems like a great, phenomenal dude that I would like to kick it with. But on the court, Dwyane Wade can't get past the new year, right? And Dwyane Wade does this pretty much every year. Through about December, Dwyane Wade, we be like, okay, yo, D-Wade, this year he gonna have it. Them knees can't do it for a whole season. If the season was 30 games, I'd sign Dwyane Wade to a max deal right now. It's not. It's 82 games. And he doesn't have it 82 games of the year. He doesn't have it 50 games of the year. He's limping to All-Star Weekend, ladies and gentlemen. And also, I've been hearing rumblings that his impact on LeBron James in the locker room has not been great this year because LeBron's feeling a way about things. And what I've been hearing from the sources that I trust, that every time he hears something from, every time LeBron thinks something, Dwyane Wade kind of reiterates it. And that's not the guy you want. That's like the best friend that gas you up to go after the chick that you know you shouldn't be talking to, that's going to get you in trouble, or the best friend that convinces you to cheat on your girl. That's kind of what D-Wade is doing. That's his role right now. He's kind of egging Bron on. And right now, again, the only reason why I'm not going to have Dwyane Wade higher on my list is because you got him at the veterans minimum right now. So you're not paying him a lot of money. And he was maintaining that bench down pretty well before Isaiah came back. So I'm going to give Dwyane Wade a little slack there. But he still deserves some blame, man. He definitely deserves some blame because he's inconsistent, man. Next up on my list, this guy deserves a lot of blame. Iman Shumpert. Everybody from here on out deserves a lot of blame. Iman Shumpert. Here's my thing with Iman Shumpert, right? He's a Kardashian. Everybody from here on out is Kardashians. Dwyane Wade's probably a Kardashian as well. Everyone here is a Kardashian. And is Iman Shumpert's last name Kardashian literally? No. But he's tied to he's married to Teyana Taylor, and Teyana Taylor signed to Kanye West, and Kanye West is married to Kim Kardashian. You know what I mean? It's Kardashian-like. I think right now Iman Shumpert, his brand is better off being a rapper and being just being Teyana Taylor's husband. On the court, I've never looked at Iman Shumpert as a lockdown defender. Guys did think that about him. I guess that's because of his athleticism. Shumpert's played, like 5 games this year? There's no way the Cavs keep him on their roster. I don't think they want him. They've tried to trade him a few times already. It's tough to find anybody that wants him. He's not a good player. He's not good. What is Iman Shumpert good at on the court? You tell me something. Because I don't know what he's good at right now. He can't shoot. He's not a good passer. They call him a lockdown defender. He can't defend to me. What is he good at? Let's not get the grade. What is Iman Shumpert good at? You call him a lockdown defender? Okay. If he was locked down, wouldn't I be able to put Iman Shumpert on the court against Steph Curry in the finals? Do y'all remember highlights of what Steph Curry did to Iman Shumpert when he got on him? I don't even want to talk about what Clay and others did to him last year. He's not a defender. I don't know if Iman Shumpert's head. And he's one of those guys, man. The Cavs got a lot of these guys who their heads are not in the game of basketball. They've made money. They play with LeBron, so their celebrity is off the wall. They're a household name. Like, I think that's the problem with this team. It's too many freaking household names. It's too many people that your girlfriend will know. You got a girlfriend who's a moderate basketball fan. She knows who Iman Shumpert is. Through maybe Teyana Taylor, reality television. I don't know. She knows who Iman Shumpert is, and that's a problem. Because most of these people don't know him for being a basketball player. They know him from everything else. And that is a problem. And that's why he's problematic for this Cavs team. He's not playing enough. He's not good enough to be a problem outside of the court. Another guy that's been a problem. The guy that got traded with Iman Shumpert to the Cavs a few years ago. J.R. Smith, man. And I want to proceed with caution with J.R. Smith because a lot of his struggles started last year. He was dealing with an infant. His child was prematurely born. And prayers, JR, to your kid. So I want to keep this on the court. But I do know JR probably has never been the same mentally. Over the last 2 years, JR has lost his game. As a matter of fact, since the finals 2016, J.R. Smith has not been the same basketball player. Right? After LeBron and Kyrie took over the finals, JR ain't been the same since. He was trash in the finals, and then from there on out, he's been terrible. He's lost his jumper. We take for granted, right? Those first couple years that JR was with LeBron in Cleveland, JR used to get bail. Yeah, he used to bail LeBron out a lot of nights. A lot of nights, the Cavs will win because J.R. Smith would have 5 3-pointers. He'd be 5 for 7 from the 3-point line with 23 points, and the game would be over by the third quarter. He doesn't have that range anymore. He's lost all confidence in his jumper. And I don't know what the Warriors did, but he never plays good against the Golden State Warriors. And they pretty much just put Steph on him in the corner. He doesn't move around anymore. He's not the explosive athlete anymore. And the problem with J.R. Smith is you're paying this man $14, $15 million a year. And the problem I have with the Cavs, and I'm going to get to some ownership in a second, with J.R. Smith is you negotiated J.R. Smith with yourself. Nobody else wanted J.R. Smith outside of the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's a problem. J.R. Smith is not producing offensively. He's one of the worst shooting guards in the league starting. You're not getting enough production for him to have him in the starting lineup. And he wants to be a starter. He cried about being a starter. Speaking of starters and crying, man, this next guy on my list, Tristan Thompson. He makes $80 million, ladies and gentlemen. I want you guys to do me a favor after you watch this video. Go Google Tristan Thompson. When I Google Tristan Thompson, you know what I see? Not basketball photos. I had to find this one. The first couple rows of Tristan Thompson is like Khloe Kardashian. Other baby mama. I don't keep up with this stuff. And Lamar Odom randomly was in one of the pictures. Anyways, I don't know what happened to this brother. one could assume that two things happened. He got paid and lost his motor, and he's also found Khloe Kardashian, and the Kardashian curse has hit him, right? He has lost the energy and the drive. One way or another, he's lost that drive. He is not the same player that he used to be. That grit and grind, because he's not like a tough guy, but he does have a little muscle on him. He's worked at it. He was in the weight room. He used to go after those loose balls, man. I don't see that fight in him anymore. Those rebounds he used to get. He was getting like 4 or 5 offensive rebounds a night, creating those second opportunities for a Cavs team. If they were in the funk, you got an extra shot coming, and then the Cavaliers would be able to run the offense again. LeBron would be able to set things up, and you'd score, right? Not getting those rebounds again. Giving you, 3-4 rebounds a night? That's unacceptable with point guards averaging 5-6 rebounds in the NBA. Heck, Russell Westbrook's almost averaging 9.8. Unacceptable when this guy's under the rim for rebounds every night. Unacceptable. You can't start him right now. He's making $80 million. He's making that star-type money. He's no star. I'll get to the person who got him paid in a second. Trust me on that. Tristan Thompson is garbage. He is so trash. He's not a good shooter. He's not good at rebounds anymore. He can never go get his own shot. He was never good in the post. I don't know what you do with Tristan Thompson right now. I don't know what you do with him. And right now, he's just taking up space. You can't really compete for a championship because you can't get rid of that contract. Right now, if I were the Cavs, that'll be my #1 goal at the trade deadline, to find a team that'd be willing to take on Tristan Thompson, because he ain't giving you nothing anyway. I don't care what you got to take back. Get rid of that freaking contract, because with Tristan Thompson, you're going absolutely nowhere. He deserves a lot of the blame. Him and J.R. Smith, a lot of the blame. Now we're going to get to the big dog, all right? I want to proceed with this with caution. LeBron James. And again, let me get off the disclaimer. LeBron James is the second greatest basketball player that I've ever seen in my life. I want to say the first, but I can't argue Michael Jordan's 6 rings. And LeBron James is here in year 15, and he's still giving you about 27, 28, and 8 and 8 a night. LeBron James is a phenomenal talent. This is year 15 we're talking about with LeBron James. Not year 1, not year 5, not year 8. LeBron James should not be at this point in his career responsible for being the spark plug for this team. And honestly, he shouldn't have to be the only option offensively most nights for this team. But to be fair to the Cavs teammates, when you play with LeBron, he is the offensive system. So you don't forget that, right? If he has the ball 10, 15 seconds of possession, you know what I mean? Like, when he leaves the court, if you're used to him having the ball and making a play last minute, you're kind of like, yo, I don't know what to do. We're used to LeBron setting everything up. It's like your mama making up your bed until you're 16 years old, till you're 18 years old. You go off to college, you don't even know how to make up your bed because you're so used to your mama waking up every morning, but going behind you and making your bed up. So I want to set off that disclaimer. LeBron is a phenomenal talent. And a lot of this is not his fault. But there is some stuff that is his fault. The last 2 guys I mentioned, J.R. Smith and Tristan Thompson, that's LeBron James' fault. For 2 consecutive years, and I always voice this point because it means something to me, and people don't talk about this enough. Your favorite analyst doesn't bring this up enough. For 2 straight summers, right, LeBron came out in the offseason and told the Cavs in video messages, look, I don't care what it takes, go get that deal done with Tristan Thompson. Go get that deal done with J.R. Smith. He did that for 2 summers in a row. Right? And there was some motive for him to do that. See, LeBron picked friends and business over winning. LeBron knows this game of basketball way better than me and way better than you. Right? As a student mind we've had at the game of basketball. LeBron knows J.R. Smith ain't worth $45 million on a 3-year deal. He know he ain't worth $15 million a year. LeBron knows Tristan Thompson wasn't worth 5 years, $80 million. That's $16 million a year. For a guy who can only rebound in his prime. He don't even rebound anymore. LeBron know that. But LeBron, like I've said in previous videos, LeBron's best friend, his manager, his agent, Rich Paul, represents J.R. Smith and Tristan Thompson. Right? LeBron made those video messages not because he thought they was the best thing for the Cavs, but because he wanted to get his boys paid to help put his partners' business in a position to never fail. And since then, Rich Paul has went on and signed Ben Simmons and a lot of great other players. Salute to Rich Paul. I'm happy for what he's doing as an African-American brother. But it hurt the Cavs, man. You're giving these guys money that you could be going out and giving a Lou Williams, a DeAndre Jordan, DeMarcus. You can't go sign top tier free agents or even young talent like a Simmons from Orlando. You can't go sign these young guys because you're tied to these old, unmotivated veterans. LeBron wanted these guys signed. Nobody else wanted them. The Cavs didn't want them. Go do your research. When J.R. Smith signed back with the Cavs, this is a real fact. No one else, no other team in the NBA offered him a deal. The Cavs were negotiating with themselves. No one offered him a deal. Go do your research. The Cavs were the only team to offer him a deal because numerous teams in the NBA, numerous GMs said, we know for a fact they're not going to let J.R. Smith get away from Cleveland because LeBron loves him too much. They're too close off the court. The Cavs gave him $15 million because they just wanted to please J.R. Smith. Nobody else was giving him that money. You could have gave him $4 million and J.R. Smith would have had no choice but to take it. Tristan, he makes $80 million. He can't put the ball in the basket. I don't even want to get in. He makes $80 million. That's LeBron's fault. That is on LeBron. And more LeBron blame. This passive aggressiveness with LeBron James with social media, it is real. Now, I do believe the media looks into LeBron James' tweet and IG post too much, right? If you criticize other NBA players who do this, like I follow Josh Richardson, Miami Heat guard. If you criticize some of the posts, he's talking about playing FIFA some nights. They don't do that with Josh Richardson because they don't care. LeBron has like 30, 40, 50 million Instagram followers and Twitter, all that stuff. Everyone sees LeBron's posts. So I do think the media overlooks into some posts. But when LeBron James is posting the off the fist, yo, you're with no caption. That's about your teammates or somebody in the Cavs organization. Those little cryptic messages, those ain't random, right? And you going out and drafting a Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving for your All-Star game. That's not the media searching. You're giving the media content, right? That's giving the media content. And I think with LeBron, he enjoys attention. And usually when they get this kind of negative attention in January and February, they turn it on after All-Star break. That's typically what a LeBron team does. I don't know about this year. I don't think they got it in them, man. I just don't know. So LeBron's passive aggressiveness on social media definitely impacts it. But for me, the biggest thing right now going on with LeBron is him and Dan Gilbert. I'll get to Dan Gilbert in a second. Dan Gilbert and LeBron's relationship is terrible. Now, it was terrible after LeBron left Cleveland and went to Miami, took his talent to South Beach. Dan Gilbert wrote that letter. And for those who don't know who Dan Gilbert is, he's the majority owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? And LeBron got that letter from Dan Gilbert. And Dan Gilbert, if you ain't read that letter, go check out one of my previous videos. I posted the whole letter pretty much. And Dan Gilbert is saying some harmful stuff about how he's not the king, he's a fake king. And honestly, it felt pretty racist to me, to be honest with you. A white owner with these kind of comments about a guy who's giving you his all when the Cavs have been irrelevant without LeBron James, right? I'll get to Dan Gilbert in a second. Trust me, I got somebody who deserves a little more blame than LeBron. When you're talking about LeBron, you decided to join that again. You knew what Dan Gilbert was about. When somebody shows you their true colors, believe them. After that letter, you knew what it was. LeBron decided to go back to Cleveland, leaving Miami because he thought he had a better chance to win a ring with Kyrie Irving than Dwyane Wade, and he knew he could get Kevin Love, right? And then he kind of suited it up with the, I'm coming home, I want to come home to Cleveland. Your whole family, and LeBron has said this, told him, don't go back to Cleveland. LeBron didn't want to play with D-Wade and Bosh anymore. He wanted something new. He wanted to go home. Wanted to play with a young point guard in Kyrie Irving. And heck, it got him a ring, you know? But I just want LeBron to understand a lot of these problems stem from the fact that him and Dan Gilbert, they don't talk. LeBron and the Cavs owner don't talk. Do you understand how that could be problematic? When LeBron signed with Cleveland, he said he was signing in spite of Dan Gilbert. That is a man that signs your paychecks, nevertheless. Like him or hate him. Dan Gilbert will not will not trade that Brooklyn pick without a commitment from LeBron James. LeBron won't commit. Now, I love player mobility. I love LeBron James. He's old school with that mentality. Man, why am I signing right now? I like looking at let me look at what's out there for me at the end of the season when it's all over, whoever won the championship, and let me make my decision July 1st, right? I love that, but at the same time, LeBron, yo, you're in year 15, bro. What else is out there for you? You gonna really leave Cleveland again? Where are you going? To Houston? To Los Angeles? Could you not commit for one more year? So Dan Gilbert can go trade that Brooklyn pick? So I understand why the Cavs won't trade that pick. But that leads me to the person who deserves the most blame for the Cleveland Cavaliers struggles, right? Dan Gilbert. This is the Cavs owner, and a lot of people don't know the backstory about this man, but let's make it clear. Some of the bad deals that I told you about were because of this man. Dan Gilbert does not like a boisterous, a personality-driven GM, right? He got rid of David Griffin last year, and I don't understand that, right? That was somebody that LeBron liked, but reportedly it was overpowered. Dan Gilbert thought David Griffin had gotten too much power with the players. He wanted him out, right? They had some rift over trading Kyrie. He got him out. He hired this Kobe Altman guy who looks like a pushover. You trade Kyrie Irving, that's a huge L, right? You trade Kyrie Irving, that's a huge L. LeBron told them, I wouldn't trade Kyrie even though he wants out. Let's work through this for at least another year. I mean, heck, I'd take Kyrie Irving right now over playing with Isaiah Thomas. It couldn't be that bad. It can't be this bad. Like, LeBron doesn't like Isaiah Thomas. Can't be. LeBron and Kyrie couldn't have been this bad. Kyrie wanted out of this mess, right? But he'll play if he's on the team. Kyrie didn't control his fate. So Dan Gilbert, to me, has gotten lucky. And he got this man named LeBron James who has ties to this area. He's from Akron, Ohio. He's a homegrown talent. One of the best talents we've ever seen. One of the only talents to ever live up to expectations and exceed them. And Dan Gilbert is lucky he got LeBron James. Somebody made a good point to me the other day. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland Browns are the same thing. It just so happens one team got LeBron James, one of the best players of all time, and the other didn't, right? If the Browns had Tom Brady, right, we're talking about a totally different game with the Browns. Other than that, they're a terribly ran organization. The Cavs are terribly ran. They were bad before LeBron James. Heck, they were bad when LeBron James left and went to Miami. Heck, they'll be bad when LeBron leaves and goes to whatever team he goes to this offseason when he leaves again. They're bad. And Dan Gilbert, to take up for LeBron James, let's make this clear. What are you holding on to that Brooklyn pick for? If you don't go trade that pick at the deadline, you're never going to have another opportunity to win a championship. You don't get guys like LeBron that often. You have a chance to win a championship. Utilize it. Go get whoever it is out there that's available. Utilize it. You gotta understand that this opportunity comes once every so often. And the Cavs suck without LeBron. You can't draft. You don't do a great job at drafting. You drafted Anthony Bidden. And he drafted Wiggins, by the way. If not for LeBron coming home, Wiggins would be a Cav. So he got it right with LeBron and Kyrie, but he's got it wrong a few times too. A la Tristan Thompson, Bennett, and Wiggins. Right? I think Dan Gilbert has lost his mind. And reportedly, Dan Gilbert has said, look, I bought Cleveland a championship, or, you know what I mean? Like, I got a ring. I don't care what LeBron does. I really want LeBron to leave. That's unfortunate, man. You're never going to get this opportunity again. And I want you to really realize what you're doing here. You're giving up on this Cavs team, and you're never going to get a chance at winning again. Everyone deserves blame in this fiasco. Nobody deserves more blame than Dan Gilbert and LeBron James. Dan Gilbert, number one, LeBron James, number two. This is a mess. I don't know if a trade can figure out what they got going on right now. They need a complete overhaul, but you can't do the overhaul because they got a collection of talent that nobody wants. Dan Gilbert, you gave these guys deals. Nobody wants J.R. Smith. Nobody wants Tristan Thompson. Nobody wants Derrick Rose. Nobody wants Dwyane Wade. Nobody wants Iman Shumpert. Nobody wants Isaiah Thomas. No one wants the players that the Cavaliers have. Somebody has to be held accountable for the people that they put on this team. There's your man. The Cavs are a mess. And like I said, I've seen the Cavs turn this around 2 to 3 years in a row. They've had bad Januaries 2 to 3 years in a row. Something feels different about this team. Something tells me that they're not going to turn it around. And by golly, call me crazy, but they're 3.5 games away from not being in the playoffs right now. Detroit is rising. Philly's starting to play Joel Embiid on back-to-backs. Is there a chance the Cavaliers don't make the playoffs with LeBron James and Kevin Love and Isaiah Thomas? The most disrespect. You think losing 5 times in the finals is bad for your legacy, LeBron? Don't make the playoffs in a year where you're averaging 28, 8-8. And see how the media spins that one. This is a mess. I'm not giving anyone any outs. That blame starts with LeBron James and Cleveland Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert. Y'all need to put aside y'all differences. LeBron, you came back to the team now. If y'all want to win, y'all got 2 days before the deadline. Y'all need to get in a room and figure this out. Because right now, that Cavs team is going nowhere. If they even get to the playoffs, I don't think they're getting out of the second round. If you get out of the second round, if you luck up, beat a Toronto or whoever you play, you get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm dang sure not picking them against Boston. But let's just say in some form or fashion, you find a way to beat Boston, right? Because you're still LeBron James. You know how to defend Kyrie Irving. You get to the NBA Finals, and last year was bad. You lost in 5 last year. And it took you getting red hot to win game 4 last year, and Golden State kind of wanted to win that championship on their home court. You get to the finals this year. You won't come within 20 points against Golden State in any game in that series. That is a TALIAFERRO'S promise. Speaking of TALIAFERRO', I go by the name of Mr. TALIAFERRO'. Thank you for watching this video. The Cavs are a mess. I don't even know the answer to fix all their problems that they have right now.
I want to salute you, homie, you know, for building your own thing and doing your own thing, creating your own platform, your own website.
I got one life to live out my dreams, and I'm giving this thing all I got. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I represent the culture.
Right now, you're turning up on MrTaliaferro.com, shawty.